From Arrowhead to Orchard Park, this is Tables and Tailgates, your weekly Chiefs and Bills podcast. Reactions, predictions, league surprises, and more. All served with the energy of a tailgate. So grab a drink, fire up the grill, and let's talk football. All right, Tables and Tailgates fam, you know we're all about repping our teams the right way. And now we've teamed up with the NFL Shop, the official online store for the NFL. If you're looking for the latest jerseys, sideline gear, hats, or collectibles, this is the place. Every team, every player, officially licensed straight from the source. Right now, you can gear up for game day and support the podcast at the same time. Just click the link in our show notes at the ticker below or head to our socials. It takes you straight to NFLshop.com. That's the NFLshop.com, where real fans get their gear.
All right.
Welcome back, listeners, to episode 5. Here we are.
We made it. We got a sponsor. It isn't Buffalo Wild Wings, but it is the NFL, so that'll do.
Yeah, we have teamed up with those guys. Shout out to our new subscribers. Huge shout out to all the new subscribers and followers, and of course, the OGs who've been riding with us from the start. The best way to support the show, hit that follow button, smash like, subscribe, share it with your crew, and ring the bell so you never miss when we drop new content. New episodes drop every Wednesday, guys, wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, Buffalo goes 4-0 with a win in Orchard Park. The Chiefs send the Ravens home 1-3 and look like a high-flying offense once again, all on today's show.
It's a good one. You had that game as a blowout. Your score prediction was 38-14. Ended up being 31-19, a little bit closer than we expected. Seemed like a slow start for the Bills, but they got the job done, as everyone expected. How'd Josh Allen and the boys do?
Yeah, I don't think it was really a slow start. I think they did have a little bit of a hump in the second quarter. They had a lull that lasted pretty much second quarter. It was actually awful to watch, to be honest with you. But they got it fired up pretty quick. But Josh Allen went 16-22, 209 yards with 2 touchdowns, and threw his first pick this week. Kind of gave me a little bit of showing of the Josh Allen for a second, the roller coaster Josh. So I kind of got a little scared there for a second. But look, Josh has a no-quit mentality. And, you know, in an extra gear, he can call up whenever he needs to, in my opinion. And it showed during that win against against the Saints. More on the stat line, though. Josh carried the ball 7 times for 45 yards and picked up a rushing touchdown. So that was huge. You know, Josh is still out there having to throw the cape on when he does. And with that, Josh's rushing touchdown marked his 70th career scrimmage touchdown, which surpassed O.J. Simpson. That is sitting at 69, clearly. Right?
That's a killer good stat.
You That's amazing.
I like that. But Sean McDermott on Josh. So like I was saying, at halftime or during the second quarter, Josh did, in the locker room. Sean McDermott said at Josh at halftime, he could just see that look in his eye, and he just knew. He just has an incredible will to win, like him and Patrick and there's a lot. Like, these guys are all professionals at the end of the day, right? We talk about that all the time, how professional all these dudes are and how driven they are to that job. So, huge thing. I think Josh did really well. He ended up putting the cape back on, and Buffalo got it done.
Yeah, I mean, kind of surprising he had to put the cape back on a little bit. I will say, though, that interception, from what I've seen, was a 50-50 toss-up ball. I mean, that's going to happen. You're not going to go a whole season without interception. That was just a better play by the DB in that regard. But Khalil Shakir had a touchdown for the ages, right?
Oh, yeah. So his touchdown, it was beautiful. So he has this. He has an amazing. He's amazing when you talk about his yards after catch, right, or even yards after contact. He's ranked fourth in the NFL for yards after catch, sitting at about 6.9 yards per reception. Last year, he was overall third in the NFL with it, but he looked so great against the Saints with 5 receptions, 69 yards. But that touchdown specifically was a thing of beauty. He has such like his center of gravity and how low he can get his body and be able to shed off of hits and be able to stay on his feet and move forward is awesome to see. It was a thing of beauty to see. It's amazing to get to see a wide receiver like that in Buffalo.
Yeah. And James Cook, he balled out, right? He's averaging 5.3 yards a carry. So what did you see out of him? Did he show any signs of slowing there?
No, he's still yeah, no, he's still showing that, he deserved that extension and why he deserved it. I mean, um to your point on the 5.3 yards carry, he had 22 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. This is Jimbo's had 8 consecutive games with a rushing touchdown now, which established a new team record. So, arguably he is the best running back in the NFL right now. I think he's in stat wise, he's sitting number 2 or number 3. I think he's
Yeah,
right
I think
around.
he's number two, just behind Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So,
He's also here's a good thing also with him. The way I see him progressing week after week, right? He's not slowing down like we said in the past. Usually, when players start to get large contracts or
mm-hmm.
get that big extension, they'll kind of regress just a little bit. This is totally different with him. I mean, he became the fourth NFL player since 1990 to begin the season with 4 games of 100 plus yards and a rushing touchdown in each of them. So, huge shout out to James Cook and what Buffalo's been able to do with him. I really love it. I love getting to see that man every Thursday, Sunday, or Monday whenever we get to put him out on the field.
Well, it certainly helps when you have an O line like Buffalo does, right?
Yeah, look, Buffalo's O line for the most part, they did have trouble giving Josh a clean pocket at times. But with Spencer Brown out this week with the Saints, I kind of did see a little bit of that right end kind of getting broken down just a little bit. But hey, James Cook and that O line is giving James Cook that time and giving him those holes. They're playing really aggressive up front. They're playing bully ball, man. They're smashing into offenses. And they were able to win the line of scrimmage against the Saints defense, which I believe the Saints defense coming into this we were talking about is one of the best rushing defenses in the league.
Yeah, they're certainly underrated.
Their record's not necessarily showing that, but again, it's huge to get to see how Buffalo is able to do that. And so, however, Buffalo did have does had the worst offense we've seen in that second quarter we've seen the whole year. Right? It was terrible. If you guys didn't get to see that game, it was awful. But Joe Brady and Josh and Jimbo in the backfield were able to get bounced back extremely quickly, which was nice to see. It was good complimentary football all around. But for that one quarter, it didn't look too hot. And we'll talk
Of the
about that when we
Titans.
get to the defense. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
actually, I'm really curious about that second quarter now. I actually did not get to watch the game, unfortunately, so you're gonna have to fill me in on why it was looking so bad. But
yeah,
tell me,
yeah. Real
yeah,
fast, I'll touch with the tight ends again. That dude, the tight ends, what also is helping complement James Cook and Buffalo's ability to run the ball. Um, I mean, they're just nasty at blocking, and I swear Jackson Hawes coming in there has really lit a fire under these tight ends. And look, I'll say, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox are phenomenal this year at blocking. I know Dalton Kincaid over the offseason said, hey, I'm going to go practice and get better at run blocking. And sure enough, you see them. I mean, they're just they're they're allowing Jimbo to find the gaps and pick up good chunk plays week after week. I mean, Buffalo had four different receivers this week over 20 plus yards, which allowed their passing plays to average 17.3 yards per attempt. You know, it's the everyone eats mantra that Buffalo has. But the big thing about it, the tight end, we didn't see much of the 12 and 13 man, but we'll get into that a little bit down further. I think in game changing or in in next week's game and who stepped up. So
Yeah. All right. And on the other side of the ball, the defense was able to generate some pressure. It seemed like the secondary played a little bit better, and there was some tackling concerns, I think, from the secondary. I know the Saints have relatively decent offensive weapons, but Spencer Rattler can't be too scary. So, what what's the
when
story
he runs,
there?
I'll tell you this, dude. And I was always against Spencer Rattler. I think we brought it up in one of the podcasts that he just wasn't this humble character of a guy being a professional athlete. From what I've heard, right? I don't know the guy
Mhm.
personally, never met him.
What? You
But
don't know Spencer Rattler?
no, I wish I did. Didn't get to meet you, but I would love to meet him. But no, I do think Buffalo's secondary. I mean, we kind of start on the Buffalo Bills secondary. They played extremely well this week. I mean, they were stopping the Saints from trying to take much through the air. Now, granted, the Saints don't have much of a threat in the wide receiver room that I would look at. It was really the biggest thing um, is on the ground, and Buffalo's third down defense improved after the showing in Miami. I mean, we went 5 of 13 on third downs, or sorry, we held the Saints to 5 of 13 on third down. So the secondary played a huge role, and especially I will say Buffalo did, other than that one quarter, especially the second half, Buffalo did come out and that defense started to just. That's what I'll tell you this. The second quarter defense is what kept Buffalo in this game because the offense just stopped. They just, I don't know if it was, hey, we're doing great. Let's just kind of ease off the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Uh, But I mean, Joey Bosa had 2 sacks and 4 forced fumbles this season. Right, he's had two sacks and 4 forced fumbles. So they're being able to create pressure consistently. I mean, Buffalo is +3 in the turnover margin. I mean, they're not number one right now. I think it puts them sixth in the NFL as of right now. But being able to tally up 3 sacks, I think Josh Allen got sacked 3 times, which was huge on the Saints side, being able to get in there, and that's why I said, Buffalo's offensive line kind of didn't get to keep them clean. Look, the Saints defense is not nothing to play with, man. They got some edge rushers out there that'll make it home quick. Um, but one of the big things I will say is that rookie defensive tackle, um, Deion Walker, is looking better each week, man. It's incredible. I love what Buffalo did. Great job, Bills, to go Buffalo to go out there and pick this dude up. I mean, the run defense wasn't looking too good during the first half. I mean, we are missing huge players on the defense. Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, and those guys help be able to get gap assignments, right? Be able to when they go in, when the Saints would come out and say, "Hey, we're checking down," or "Hey, we're changing the play, we're changing the play," they're able to look at that and be able to make those changes. I think Deion Walker did a great job. He had a couple of tackles, I think, for a loss, 1 or 2 for a loss. Coming as a rookie into the NFL, and with Ed Oliver being out, the dude's actually stepped up. But the run defense did step up after halftime. I will say that, and they held the Saints to just 67 rushing yards in the second half. So the first half they balled out, giving up 189 yards, but the second half, they gave up 6, 7 rushing yards. I mean, Buffalo right now is, I believe, dead last in rushing defense. If you look at it, so a lot of work needs to happen right there. You start getting up there with teams that got really good rushing, just like the Saints. and Alvin Kamara. You get over there and start playing the Eagles. Kansas City figures out their rushing or their running offense. You've got to have an answer for stuff like that. So, yeah, I think our defense overall played a lot better this week.
Mhm.
Definitely in that second half. So we need to keep that momentum, get it over into the Patriots.
So tell me the play that changed everything. So you guys stalled in the second quarter. Is there one play you can look at that goes, okay, now we're back on like back on track. Now we're back to
Uh,
playing Buffalo Bills football.
yeah, I think two of them actually. I mean, safety Cole Bishop had his first NFL pick. And if you look at the pick, I mean, that's something I'm going to end up getting it, putting it in a frame. I'm framing that and putting that up on the wall. It was a beautiful sight. They tried to run the Philly special right before halftime, and um, Cole Bishop was able to cut that off and pick it off, and um, they could have been potentially up 17-14 right there going into
Yeah.
halftime. So I think that kind of turned the tide just a little bit. And then what really did it is, Sean McDermott having that look with Josh. Not really having a talk with him, but just looking over and saying he's got the look in his eye, like this dude's gonna pick up, play Superman, and he did. He had a huge angry run in the third quarter. Ran 27 or sorry, fourth quarter. He ran a 27-yard like this, just angry crazy run with about 8 minutes left. We were leading, I think, 21-19 or something at the time. And, uh, you know, just like that, he threw the Superman cape on, like we've talked about in other podcasts. It's
Yeah.
that him and Patrick are there, and they'll throw that cape on, and something's going to happen. You're going to have to throw the whole entire kitchen sink at these two guys, or they're just gonna run you over, man. And then right after that, Josh followed up with a 28-yard touchdown to Dalton Kincaid. And right there, that put the icing on the cake. Buffalo never looked back. They knew they had to get the job done. The Snowman even said it himself. I can't remember what podcast he was on, but I was listening to it, and he was saying, "Look, when Josh Allen, like when they were playing the Ravens, um, and most of the team was just, I mean, if you're getting your butt beat by 3 and a half scores, right? 3.5 possessions that you're going to have
Hmm.
to bring this game up. And Josh Allen's on the sideline. They're getting ready to go out. And Josh said, "Hey, we're still in this." Like, that's huge. So, again, that's a guy you can't count out. And I think those were the two. I wouldn't like to hold it down just one, but those were the two huge things that kind of shifted the huge momentum of that game and put Buffalo up there to end up winning that game against the Saints. And man, those Saints aren't nothing. Even though the record shows that, games are
Yeah.
hard. Games are hard to win.
You're still
So
playing an NFL team, right?
yeah,
People are getting paid, right? But
yeah.
Buffalo's getting some reinforcements back, right?
Jeez, man. I hope look. I talked about it again last week, it, and I thought we were where we were going to be to get because look, Buffalo. We played the game again without Ed Oliver and Matt Milano, right? I figured they're not going on IR. Bring him back. But then everybody looks at it. I think McDermott and them looked at it and said, "We're not too worried about the Saints going into this. Give them an extra week." Ed Oliver coming into the game, coming on to the stadium, people are saying he still kind of had a little limp to him. So,
Yeah.
and Spencer Brown was missing on that right side. So, um, it was rough. Um, I'm hoping we do. McDermott said today or during his little conference that he had with everybody after the game. Look, you know they're trending in a positive direction, but they'll know more Wednesday, right? So look out for the active um, injury report. I'm going to put that out probably closer to Friday. So we get an actual, because Friday is when who's going to be potentially a game time decision. There's a lot that changes in a day, even though it's a
Right.
walkthrough. Um, And yeah, so and Buffalo had to go out and sign a new punter. If you guys seen that, their punter again. There's a roughing the punter. We had and he got hurt. They put him on IR, and Buffalo had to go out and get Mitch Wishnowsky, sign him to the active roster today. So, a little bit going on there, but we should be getting some good reinforcements.
There
I
you
am
go.
hoping because one of the big things is for reinforcements. Buffalo has three huge playmakers that can now come off of that have now cleared IR and can head back to practice this week. Rookie cornerback Maxwell Harrison. We know that Sean McDermott has said, "Look, we're not going to rush him back. He may play, he may not. It's a if or when he plays, right? Which is getting everybody scared." Offensive tackle Tylen Grable is able to come back, and kicker Tyler Bass. They can all have their 21-day practice windows open. So, huge thing to look at, right? We got some guys that can come back. Will they? They've missed a lot of time. Maxwell Harrison missed pretty much all of training camp, all of the preseason, and he's missed the first 4 weeks in the NFL. So don't look for him to come back quickly. Trust me, I want him to. Hoyt and Okunjobi, they're halfway through, so they can start. They are now allowed at the facility. They can join meetings. They can go to the film room. They can use the gym, but they just cannot be out there in practice, right? So I believe they can come back week 8 is when they can actually start practicing with teams. So look for that. But yeah, other than that, we do have some guys coming back, and it's going to help strengthen the defense where Buffalo's been having those problems. I really truly believe that.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, just looked like another game with the Bills on cruise control. Another game putting up 30 plus points. So, um, overall
Yeah.
impressive. I think you guys, you look dominant. You look like the best team in the AFC. I think this game coming up, which we'll talk about here in a bit, might be your first somewhat decent test of the season, outside of that Ravens game week 1. So, um, nothing but positives coming out of Buffalo, it sounds like.
Hey, I'm hoping, man.
uh,
Look, the rush defense got to get there. But talking about rushing and talking about Kansas City just completely dog walking the Ravens.
that's right.
I mean,
B2A, belt to
geez,
ass,
I mean,
right?
no
The
joke. I
Chiefs
mean,
are, let's say the
you
Chiefs are
had
5-1 in the last 6 matchups against the Ravens. We're in their head.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I truly believe you guys will stay there. I think it's thing. But look, I mean, you had this tilt going. Chiefs 24, Ravens 21. You had a lot closer. Um, but it came out. Kansas City dominated 37-20. What kind of
Yeah,
thoughts you got on this one?
listen, honestly, the score doesn't even represent the game, right? You got a 6 point swing from Harrison Butker missing a field goal right before the half, and then the Ravens going down and getting those points. So if the Chiefs had hit that field goal, they'd have 40. And then listen, by the time Justice Hill had that remarkable 70 plus yard run to the end zone to put the Ravens at 20, the defense was kind of taking it easy. At that point in the game, you've got Cooper Rush in the game. Lamar Jackson's hurt on the sideline, which we'll get into a little bit later. The Ravens were demoralized. And what I also didn't account for was just how much of a boon having Xavier Worthy true. And I'm torn on this a little bit, but he really has started to look like a number 1 wide receiver. I always had him as a 2. But I honestly think he's really kind of worked his way up, and he looks healthy. He looked great. Uh, Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 37, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, honestly, just a fantastic game. Jimmy, what did you think? How did you feel watching the game?
I was very happy. I thought it was going to be a much closer game. And the score, I think, even though we won by 17, it does look not as impressive just because of that long run at the end, which you could tell, like, everyone's just kind of like whatever, and which sucked. I was wanting a bigger gap, but no, it was great. It was nice to see Xavier Worthy be healthy and run all over the place, and he had some crazy good. He had a good couple runs, good
Hmm.
good catches, and yeah, it was nice to see. It was like old school Chiefs football where everyone's having fun, and it was exciting to watch.
Yeah, we didn't get our annual or every weekly Travis Kelsey crash out on the sidelines.
Yeah,
That was good to see. We
Yeah,
yeah, it was
we
nice.
didn't see that.
yeah. Look, I think KC showed up to play football this week. I mean, Xavier Worthy looked impressive. I'm going to
He
say, boys,
did.
he looked impressive for you guys coming off a dislocated shoulder injury,
Hmm.
going for five reception, 83 yards. Dude, he was at look. You're that that deep threats back. He averaged 16.6 yards per attempt. The
Yeah.
deep threats are real, people. He's back.
He,
Like, and all that's doing is opening up that underneath. And I think that's where you're going to get Travis Kelsey in there, right? So, what is your guys' thoughts with seeing that Xavier Worthy came back and how that's opening up more for Patrick and not just having to try to play Superman the whole entire time?
right. Well, I think the biggest thing is that it gives the defense someone to account for, and that changes how the offense plays. You no longer have games where you're going to have Travis Kelsey get bracketed on coverage. You're going to have two or three guys just bullying him right off the line. So that should see more productive games, I think, for Travis Kelsey going down the stretch as well. Along with that, I think you're going to have more options open in the middle on the outside the lines too. So, no, that's a great question. I think the Chiefs' offensive philosophy changed a bit in this game as well. They're being a little bit more aggressive. We're seeing Mahomes take more snaps under center. We're seeing more RPOs, which is something we hadn't seen in the first 2 weeks of the game. So Xavier Worthy coming back is really giving us a glimpse of what the Chiefs thought they could have going into the season. Um, so I'm excited about it. Honestly, there's a lot of positives to take out of this game. O line looked a lot better. This is the first game where Kingsley Suamataia did not give up a pressure. This is also the first game where Jawan Taylor wasn't mentioned. There was no NBC graphic. There was no false start. He lined up exactly where he needed to be the entire game. He looked great. I think
I'll
the
tell you
coaching
why.
staff probably came down on him pretty hard throughout the week.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't him. He got engaged the
Okay.
next day, and
He
his
did.
fiance or girlfriend, now fiance, said, "Listen, you get a penalty tomorrow. This ain't happening.
It
It ain't.
happened.
It ain't happening." I could have seen
did
that.
you yeah, I saw the picture. I was really happy for him. It looked like he was lined up properly in the picture too. I was worried he was going to be a bit far back from his fiance there. You have to pan out the picture.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he
think
was
yeah.
I
like
think
he was spaced
he should have done
perfectly.
that anyway. He definitely should have
He
taken a
should
picture like that
He
anyway.
should have jumped a second early before he got down to the
that, or he should have put a football down on the ground just right behind him
Uh-huh.
yeah.
and had a ref
Oh,
there. That right there would have been like, dude, you're awesome. But let me. Okay, so Tyquan Thornton didn't
yeah.
kill it with stats this week for you guys, right? He
No.
wasn't a stat killer. But listen,
No.
he was there when Patrick needed him. Guys, let me know, Jimmy. What do you think? Why did Tyquan Thornton not have such an active role this week? But he still showed up when he needed to.
I think some of it is so kind of like to go back to the last question on kind of what I think how the Chiefs are going to utilize Xavier Worthy more now and like get back to the regular Chiefs football. I think a big part with him playing deep is like everyone figured out the Chiefs. We had Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, and um, all the what do we call them, the Legion of Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Years
And
back.
so
Yep.
everyone played us deep. So that's why probably Travis Kelsey had so much success because nobody was there. And I
Hmm.
think now everyone plays us more shallow, which is probably not helping Travis Kelsey catch a lot. And he's always actually guarded, unlike before, where defenders are like, this dude's playing grade school catch Like the route he runs makes no sense, but him and Travis kind of have that way to do it. But I think with having Xavier Worthy going deep again is going to help open up a ton of different things for the Chiefs when it comes to whether it's running, if Mahomes needs to scramble, and then back
Right.
to throwing it to Kelsey or Gray or one of them. I think that'll help a ton. As
No, I
for
agree.
Thornton, I was kind of bummed that I think they had to show Xavier Worthy love and really try to get him the ball
Mhm.
as frequent as possible. And so, but as for Thornton, I mean that kid's a stud. I mean, I am very excited to watch him develop and I mean he at least has sticky hands, which is nice. And he's yes, he did show up. That his one reception was for a touchdown. And I
Yeah.
think as the season goes on, and now that I think the next like couple weeks he'll be a lot more into like the game plan. And then I think when Rice comes back, they're just going to find other ways to kind of make him be like a slot and just kind of cut in different places and utilize him as well as like Juju and stuff like that. So I think it'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Juju, Hollywood Brown. I mean those guys are playing great football.
They are.
Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy, and Rasheed Rice.
It's going to be nasty
Ouch.
when here in just a
That's
couple
like
weeks.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
Buffalo's 12 and 13.
Uh,
So wow, yeah, that's look. So I mean, the Chiefs' defense stepped up here, guys, like you've been talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. You talked about Noel Williams. Give me some
No
other
fly
things here.
zone is what he's calling it, man. He's been an absolute dog. He's actually the number one rated PFF cornerback right now in the league. He had a coverage grade of at least 90.7 in each of his last three appearances this season. His snap count has increased week over week as well. He currently has the highest coverage rate among all DBs in the league at 93.7, the highest overall grade among DBs at 92.3. So he has been absolutely amazing. I mean, it stinks that Christian Fulton got injured, but I mean, goodness gracious, I can't wait to see what this guy does going into the season a little bit further. Look, the Chiefs have I will say that so the first drive, the Ravens marched down the field. And that's kind of the game plan I was expecting them to have, right? You have Derrick Henry. Why not utilize the run game? We know that the linebackers are not necessarily best in coverage. Nick Bolton is mainly what I'm talking about. So I would figure if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to run the ball right at the Chiefs. I'm going to wear down their defensive line. And then I'm going to do play action pass over the middle. I'm going to pick apart the linebackers. I'm going to get Mark Andrews and likely involved. And outside of that first drive, we really didn't see them do that anymore. And that's not the first time we've seen the Ravens have success in the beginning and then quickly get away from their game plan. But I will say some of the things that the Chiefs were utilizing that we haven't really seen is Nick Bolton be utilized on the blitz. He had 10 pass rushes in that game and pressures on 5 of them. They utilize he didn't just rush right away. He didn't just blitz right when the ball was snapped. He waited a little bit, acted as if he was a spy, and then proceeded to press up the middle. And then on the other side of that, you have Leo Chanel, who's another one of our linebackers. This guy is an athletic freak, absolutely gifted. He had probably one of the best interceptions I've seen from a linebacker in quite a while. And he's looking to really just continue his growth among the defense. I mean, this guy, I'm not exactly sure what his snap count is right now, but they need to make sure that he's involved more in the game because he's an athletic freak.
they
This is the
said
game plan that
he's
yeah,
they said he's like physically the strongest person on the Chiefs team. That he is just. I stood next to him when was it me and you, Dave, that held the flag, right? When we were on the Chiefs
yeah, we
sideline,
did.
and I was standing next to, I think it was him and Juju that was behind us. And Leo Shadell is obviously they play in the NFL, they're big. I'm not a
Right.
small person for people who don't know me.
No.
And I was like, that dude is massive. But On top of that, your guy Cole Bishop, Tom, had his first interception. That was Leo Chanel's first interception in his NFL
Yeah,
Oh
career.
wow. Heck
there
Look
yeah.
you
at
go. Interception
that.
buddies.
Twinsies.
Claps for both. Claps for both. I like that.
Yeah, if you want to see how impressive Leo Chanel's physique is, or just how strong he is, there's a video of him during the Super Bowl parade a couple years ago. They
Hmm.
were going down Kansas City in these double decker buses. He's outside with the crowd hanging out, runs back instead of just getting on the bus normally, jumps up and climbs up the side of the double decker bus. It's,
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it's impressive, and he
it
made
is
it look
impressive.
easy. The Chiefs all around had a fantastic a fantastic game plan. Something about them playing the Ravens, I'm not sure. Usually the Ravens are a smash mouth defense. The Ravens
Yeah.
were favored to win this game, and it just, I mean, other than the slow start for the Chiefs offense, it didn't even look close. Once
Yeah.
halftime came around, you could tell the Ravens were just defeated.
Yeah. It
And
did.
that's
And look,
even with
before,
them getting the field goal before the half.
yeah. And before we go into, because I do want to ask you guys one last question, but I
Yeah,
do want to
yeah.
bring this up since you brought it up about the my last question will be, is KC back? Right? We talked about this a little bit before, but before I ask that, I have one last question for you guys on that. And Jimmy, you could kick this one off, or Dave, whichever, but I want to hear from both of you. So your special teams looks great outside of Butker. What's going on
Yeah.
He had a
in the
slump like
special teams?
this. What was it, like 3 years ago, and or
Yeah.
something like that? And he had a slump, and then he came back, and when it mattered, and yeah, little field goals here and there, and it's not normal for him to miss. He is statistically one of the better of kickers, and
Right.
so I'm hoping he figures out whatever he needs to figure out. I mean, luckily these weren't game-winning field goals that he's missing.
Yeah.
I know, like in the scheme of things, they would have helped with some of our losses if he made like the one or two that he's missed. But I think he'll figure it out, and hopefully, I guess. If not, then it might be time
Yeah.
to go shopping.
Well, here's the issue with that. Butker is the highest paid kicker in the league, and there was a time where he was the most accurate kicker in NFL history.
Hmm.
He has now missed 5 kicks in 4 games, and that means that he's now missed more kicks in these 4 games than he missed all of last season. His accuracy
Oh
is
wow.
at 77%. So, in the grand scheme of things, it Butker recovered from an injury, and I don't know if you watched a lot of Chiefs games last year, you would know that when he was kicking, he was dropping to a knee. Now, eventually, he got over that, but
Oh yeah.
I've got to think if you're a kicker, it's kind of like being a golfer, and you might change your swing if you have a little bit of an injury to compensate one way or the other. So it's not like Butker's missing power right now because he's not and he's missing all over the place. I just think he looks like a golfer who's lost his swing and is in real time trying to figure out how to get it back. The issue is 5 years ago, you could say, hey, you missed a 50 something yard field goal. It happens. It's not a big deal. That's not the case anymore. As you guys
Mm-mm.
know, the NFL is now using kicking balls and that's adding an extra 10 to 15 yards onto the range. So we're seeing players kick 60 plus yard field goals accurately at an astonishing rate like we've never seen before. Making a 55 plus yard field goal, while it feels weird to say it should be routine, it's almost expected now as an NFL kicker. So there really isn't anything the Chiefs can do but hope that gets better because again, he is the highest paid kicker right now. Now, there's kickers out there on the streets. They can sign someone if they need to, but that's just a dead cap hit. I don't think the Chiefs want to mess around with. So
Yeah.
it's a
Look.
problem, but it's a problem. There's not much we can really do about it right now. It just is
Yeah.
I'm
what it
Look.
is.
I
looking.
don't think they're going to move on him. I don't think
I'm
they'll move
looking
on him.
back at his stats right now, though, and he was drafted or whatever in 2017, and
And we signed
Hmm.
him off the practice squad of
Yeah.
Carolina, Tennessee, something like that.
Well, so there was 1 year he did worse than he currently is, and it was in 22. He was 18 for 24, which is 75% on
Mm-hmm.
field goals. And currently he's at 76.9%. So
Yeah.
hopefully he progresses. Obviously, in 22, pretty sure we won a Super Bowl that year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Look, I don't. Yeah. Look, I don't think they'll end up moving on with him. I mean, look, the accuracy has to come up. I think special teams and kickers, their accuracy is going to definitely have to be more in the mid 80s. I would probably say close to 82 to 85% or
Right.
higher
Right.
to be able to be a starter on most of these NFL teams.
At least, yeah.
But hey, here it is. So I wanted to ask you guys one thing. I've been hearing this all week. Is Casey back? So I look at it. The Ravens defense this year is statistically the second worst team in the NFL overall for defense. With the Ravens having 7 defensive players, defensive starters out, 4 prior to kickoff, 3 going down during the game. Um, in Lamar, who left in the third quarter with what they're saying is a hamstring injury. I personally thought at the time was just him giving up on his team, but they are saying right now that he did have an injury. But look, that's not how you're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You're
Yeah.
not going to beat any other decent team in the NFL. Um, but I said this during week 1 when Buffalo beat the Ravens. Something was looking off, right? I was telling people, I don't know if we got it on the show, but something is off with them. I just wasn't feeling it. But um, my personal thought is, right, that I want to see one more game to say, is Kansas City back to Super Bowl? Like, because the problem is we built a narrative around Josh Allen, we built a narrative around Kansas City and what they're supposed to do, right? What is Buffalo is SBOB, right? On first things first, they always say they're Super Bowl or bust. The Ravens are Super Bowl or bust. Kansas City, what they should be playing like this because they got the greatest quarterback in NFL history, right? And it's right now arguably, but I mean, look at the guy. Like he's kept your team from being 0 and 4 or 0 and 3, right? So I personally want to see this Jacksonville game and be decided. But look, you can never count the Chiefs out as long as they got 1-5 under center. I
Yeah.
don't think they're back 100% to where they are yet. But this was a phenomenal showing that if you are not ready for their pass offense, you're getting burned every time. What is your quick thoughts on is KC back?
Jimmy, if you want to go first on this one.
I would say after next week, if they pull out a dub in Jacksonville, then I would say that they're back to normal. I think they needed this Ravens game to maybe get things rolling again, and so it's only going to get better when Rasheed Rice comes back, and so yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I'm a big Chiefs fan, obviously, so I'm going to say like I don't want to sound like a Cowboys fan. I'll be like, we did boys, here we go, but like we do have the ability, unlike them. So I wouldn't say they're back just yet. I would say after next week, if they pull out a good win, then I'd definitely throw that on the table.
I'm super optimistic. No, honestly, I'm very close to them saying that they're the top tier. They're not quite there yet. You're I I know you and I talked a little bit off camera about the run game, and I think it will improve. I think we should see a little bit more Brashard Smith being involved in the game. Pacheco looked a little bit better after his snaps were starting to decrease mid game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think once the Chiefs kind of get their run game up and going, and even if it's mediocre, that's fine. You don't need anything crazy. I think I think we undersold how big of a deal it was that Xavier Worthy was out and that the Chiefs are missing a number one wide receiver. Tyquan Thornton's great and all, but he's not going to be a number one or number two receiver on basically any roster in the NFL. I think that the Chiefs are definitely on the right steps, and I feel really good about this game coming up next week. So, um, I know we're going to talk about power rankings. I'll just say I kind of wish I don't want to spoil anything. I kind of wish I had changed a little bit differently, but I'm really optimistic. I'm ready to say the Chiefs are there, but I will say the narrative about the Chiefs blowing out people that should have been over a while ago because the Chiefs weren't blowing anybody out last year. They would have took a high school football team down to the final minute. So it feels weird to see a blowout for the Chiefs. This is the most relaxing game I think I've seen for the Chiefs since Taylor Swift got announced at the Bears game. You know, the Chiefs Bears game a while back. That was probably the last one that I felt confident about at halftime. Like they weren't just going to blow it. But no, I feel great. I don't. I don't know if I need a full game. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I need to see it for a full game, but I'm as close to being as John Wick. Oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm back as possible. You know what I mean?
I like it. I like it. Hey, look, finally Spags was able to expose the Ravens offense, and dude, I'm telling you, they had their number like you guys said first. So
Yeah,
congratulations, great win, boys.
I
Hell of a
appreciate it.
way to
And
kick that thing.
Spags, he doesn't get enough credit. I honestly, best defensive coordinator in the league. He's so innovative. He does things a lot of just the defense just knows how to adapt and change throughout a game. I read a stat that if you're not aware of what cover zero is, it's basically where you don't have safeties out there on the field. You're blitzing. It's a heavy blitz formation. The Chiefs are running it 13% of the time right now, which is
Jeez.
absolutely insane. They're pressuring at a high rate, and I mean Spags is utilizing the players that he has. I didn't talk enough about the D line and how great they've looked. I know I talked a little bit about George Karlaftis in a few episodes ago about him not being worth what he's being paid. That slowly changed. He's looked a lot better in the last couple of games, and I know I've talked about the secondary, but my goodness, they're really locking things down. The defense is phenomenal right now.
I like it. I like it. All right, here we go. Predictions for next week. Chiefs travel to Jacksonville. Take on
Monday Night
the
Football.
3-1 Monday Night Football. Take on the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you guys got? Let's go with let's just start out with this the Chiefs run defense against Travis Etienne. What you got?
Travis Etienne is averaging 6.1 yards per carry right now. Um, he's an absolute monster. Part of me thinks that's because the Jags haven't necessarily had the toughest slate so far. They've played against the Bengals, the Panthers, and the Texans. Uh, Not exactly a who's who of teams or defenses. Granted, they lost the game to the Bengals, but the Bengals had Joe Burrow at that time, and that was just a shootout. And they beat the 49ers, which good team, but we talked about this last week. They have a lot of injuries. So I think that's going to be kind of the matchup of the week, to be honest, is those are the two matchups I have. The Chiefs run defense versus ETN and um, Josh Hines Allen versus Joshua Simmons. Those are the two matchups I'm going to have my eye on the entire time. So I think this is going to be a battle won or lost in the trenches. What are you thinking, Jimmy?
I'm right there. Um, sorry, one second. My
Yeah,
kids
no,
are blowing my
you're
phone up.
good. So
No,
yeah,
I'm right there with. I
so
think that
yeah,
if we could stop ETN, and I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm hoping for another 30 pointer from the Chiefs. That'd be cool if we beat them like 30-10 or something like that, and just start going up from there.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing because look, Jacksonville's defense is ranked middle of the NFL right now, and I believe their offense is right there as well. Actually,
yeah.
I believe it's actually no, they are one, two, three, four, five, six. They're 10. So their overall defense is ranked 15, and their overall offense is ranked 10th in the NFL right now, statistically, right? But again, when you play a team that's not as high up or as strong of a team in some of those areas, those numbers can get skewed. I mean, we are a quarter of the way through. So, what do you think the Chiefs' O line needs to do to beat this Jags defensive line?
Yeah, so the Jags defensive line has got some dogs. Like I mentioned, Josh Hines Allen is having a phenomenal season. 83.1 PFF grade. He's 17th best amongst all defensive ends. He's got 23 pressures, pushed him third in the NFL. So this is going to be another game for Joshua Simmons where he's going to be tested. I think he did really well against Dexter Lawrence, who is arguably one of the best defensive linemen in the league outside of course, our guy Chris Jones. So I'm targeting that matchup. I think if Josh Hines Allen has a good game, it's going to be a long day for Patrick Mahomes. Um, the Jags have a really good run defense. They're fourth best run defense and then the fifth best scoring defense. So uh, I would like to see the Chiefs get the rookie involved a little bit more. Um, I would like to see more threats of play action pass and RPOs, more stuff out under the center. I think we saw some flashes of that in the game against the Ravens. The Chiefs also need to get Worthy involved early and often. Um, Worthy looked very healthy, so the stuff that I was scared of, like um, the
Sweet.
jet plays, basically where he's running across. Where I was scared of him getting popped,
Yeah,
but
jet sweeps. Mm-hmm.
jet sweeps. That's it. That's what I was trying to look for. I I think you can honestly use Worthy in any way you possibly can. So, um, my game plan, if I'm the Chiefs, is try to get up as quick as you can and get the Jags out of running the ball. And I think that's how the Chiefs win the game. The Chiefs win if they can get the Jags out of the run game. I think the Jags win if they can pressure Mahomes and create turnovers.
Yeah, and isn't they are number one in the turnover room right now at a plus nine.
Yeah,
They have a total of 13 turnovers through 4 games. So that's going to be huge. Jimmy, so
they're creating fumbles. I mean, they hit hard.
yeah, they're out there to do two things: win a game and get a football.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what are your
Did
thoughts?
you?
What are you thinking on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Chiefs have a good chance to start a little win streak here, and yeah, I agree with Dave. If they can stop the run game and keep Mahomes safe, it changes everything. If they let him ETN run all over us and we get pressured, it's going to be a nasty one. But you can never really count Mahomes out. But I think, yeah, I think this will be a victory for us. I think we'll get back on track and get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the huge one. I agree with you guys. Look, my only 2 cents in this is Kansas City's allowed 127 rushing yards per game. That's their average right now, right? Overall, I think they've 508 yards of total rushing yards this season. But like you guys said earlier, they've their defense is slowly starting to come in there. And dude, Spags, I can never talk enough about the guy. I'm a huge Bills fan. I don't like, I'm not a Chiefs fan, but good God, Spags kind of gives some guys some chances, my guy, on the
Yeah.
offense side
No.
of the ball.
Yeah. Kansas City's very lucky to have Spags. I'm shocked he's not a NFL coach somewhere. I know it didn't work out for him before, and his age kind of plays a factor. But I mean, he's been doing it a long time. He was with the Giants when they beat Brady and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, um, I mean, we're very lucky to have him, and I think he's going to be in Kansas City for the long haul. So,
Nice.
speaking of the Jags, though, did you guys see the? And I didn't put this in the notes, but did you guys see the after game between Robert Sala
Yes.
and the Jags head coach Liam Cohen and how they had to be
Yeah.
separated. And Liam Cohen
Yeah.
basically saying, "Keep my name out your
Name
fucking
after mouth.
mouth. I will fuck your world up." Yo, so I guess the 49ers accused, was it no, maybe it was, I don't know.
Yeah. They're
It
accusing
was
the
the
Jaguars of
Jags of
like
stealing signs,
signal.
right?
Yeah. Signal stealing. Yeah. And then you see them both on the podium. The 49ers
Yeah.
coach, he's like, dude, it's not that fuck serious. I don't care. I let this go.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't that big of a deal. Why is he making it that big of a deal? But I thought we were going to get a Will Smith in there.
Oh
I
my
was waiting
gosh, wouldn't
for
that be
when
great?
That'd be
I
awesome.
felt like was it Cohen is behind his players? He's like, hold me back, bro. Hold me back, bro.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
And Salah's
Listen,
like holding one. I'm like, yeah,
yeah. Maybe we'll see some of that. Maybe, I don't know if you want to come at Big Red like that. You know what I mean? He'll sit on you. It'll be over.
you'll have
Uh,
you will have the whole entire Kansas City fan
oh
base
yeah.
headed to Jacksonville if that
I
you don't mess with Big Red.
No.
Yeah, I don't know how invested the Jags fans are in this season. I feel like more of the fan base is in England anyway, right? So I think it's going to
Yeah,
be a 50-50 split crowd, maybe. There's going to be a lot of red in that stadium in Jacksonville. Listen, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Shocking. I know. I have the score 27-21, and the only reason why I have a weird score like that is because I just can't count on Butker to make every single kick in a game now. So
ooh,
is he going to miss a point after kick? I mean, he's missed a kick in every game. So, I mean, I kind of have
Butker,
to
your
think
team's
he's going to
starting
miss
to
another.
Butker, your
I'm
team's
sorry.
starting to forget about you here. They're starting to
I
lose faith
know.
in you, Jimmy. What do you got? What do you got for a score?
I'm hoping it's a much bigger spread than that. I like to be optimistic and hope and pray and wish, but
Okay.
I'm gonna go 30
Okay.
to 10, and I think
30
that
to 10.
I think the
Woo.
Chiefs. I think they're gonna. I think they got a taste of what it's like to score big and get back on their ways of having big plays, and I think they're gonna try to incorporate some big plays again for this next game. And I think after this last week, I hope the Jaguars focus more on the deep ball again, and then we'll get our run game going because they're not really
Yeah.
expecting any of that. And so it's all just a sleight of hand, you know. You show them one thing, next week do another, and that way they're not prepared for it. And so hopefully it's something impressive like that. That'd be
Yep,
cool.
I'm kind of there. I'm a little look. I wanted to get this game a little lower scoring, just like the Ravens. I think it will be a little bit lower. I think I'm going to end up going 21-17 Kansas City. I think it's a much tighter game. Kansas
Yeah.
City's traveling. I think Jacksonville's going to be ready for this, but I still think Kansas City squeaks this one out 21-17.
I like it.
All right.
There we go.
A
All right.
AFC East barn burner, bro. The only somewhat decent AFC East team outside of Buffalo that isn't all completely in the hospital or smiling from an ambulance somewhere on the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyreek.
Dude, that
A
was
healthy AFC East team. So the New England Patriots are going to Buffalo for a little bit of Sunday night football. What you got?
Yeah, look, again, one of the big things I think, this is the farewell tour for Buffalo inside Highmark Stadium, or as I like to call it, Rich Stadium. That's where it began. That's the true roots of Buffalo's beginnings out there in Western New York. But listen, I think really it's going to be either a run game or a passing game, right? And of course, we always talk about, of course, that's two things, right? You're either going to run or pass, but Buffalo's got to figure out quickly: is this going to be a run game or is this a pass game? Right? We're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see a traditional, well balanced run and pass game from Buffalo. Look, even though James Cook is arguably the best back in the NFL, like we said this season, right? He's arguably one of the best. He's putting up over 100 yards per game, but the Patriots' run defense is ranked second in the NFL. They're only allowing roughly about 77 yards per game. I mean, that's phenomenal run stop defense. But again, the Saints were the same way, right? We talked about them last week where they had one of the top run defenses in the league, and James Cook and them were still able to get out there. So Buffalo's offense is going to, if Buffalo can get James Cook going early by opening up holes, it's going to make the Patriots have to go to try to come in and play a little bit deeper. You're not going to play those two-man safeties. You're not going to see that split out. So they'll want to play a little bit deeper inside. But man, that free agent stud defensive tackle Milton Williams has been everything the Patriots has been hoping for. Uh, Not to mention veteran linebacker Robert Spillane and their edge rusher Harold Landry. He's also done a great job against the run, all three of those. So look for those guys to try to stop Buffalo's run game. I don't see Buffalo coming in here and wanting to run. So this should be a night where I see Josh Allen has to get it done through the air. And we know Josh can, right? We'll start seeing we'll start seeing a little bit more of that Josh Allen through the air. The Patriots are ranked 28th in yards allowed per pass, despite having that solid game or a solid pressure numbers that they're getting. They're ranked 12th in sack percentage at 7.2% and 13 in pressure rate. So look for that. I mean, honestly, sit and look for Buffalo coming out with a little bit more of that 12 and 13 personnel packages and making the Patriots guess what are we going to do, because again, when they put out that 12 and 13 personnel packages, you don't know if they're going to run, you don't know if they're going to pass. We didn't get to see that quite as much with the Saints. Buffalo went strictly with wanting to hit the ground and hit the ground running, so that's probably something that I would say this is going to try to start as a run game, in my opinion. So the Patriots think, oh, look, Buffalo's coming out, try to do the same thing they did to the Saints. We start shutting that down. Well, now all of a sudden you start seeing these 12 and 13 man or 12 and 13 personnel packages where they've got three tight ends sitting out on the field. What do? Now you're opening it up to allow a little bit of that run. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes as far as that offense.
So you're thinking one thing we didn't talk about in the notes, and I didn't even think about this, but is it going to be weird seeing Diggs back at back in Buffalo in a
No,
Patriots
not at all.
uniform?
Nope.
Is there
So
some?
here's why.
Yeah, okay,
There's no hate. I love Diggs.
right.
Diggs is one of those. Look, if you don't fit in the Bills realm of like what Buffalo's trying to do, right? If you can't fit in, and it's not like Diggs didn't fit in. Diggs is one of those wide receivers that needs the ball. He's like a Tyreek Hill. I want the ball. I need the ball. Kind of a thing. Like, right? You get that feeling. I think Josh felt he always had to get the ball to Diggs. He had to impress everybody, and Diggs need the ball or he'd be angry. Look, Stephon Diggs, after the Patriots game last week, talking to the media, he was asked, "How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, like fitting in and stuff?" He said he's feeling about 5 out of 10. So he's only about halfway to feeling as great as he did when he was with Buffalo. In my opinion, he didn't say that, but he said he's about a 5 out of 10. Look, we're only a quarter of the way through
Hmm.
the season, so let's see where this thing goes. But no, I don't think it is. Look, we seen him when he was in Houston, right? They didn't play in Buffalo, so
Yeah,
Buffalo's played against him. But
yeah,
him finally coming back to Highmark Stadium with the rivalry, right? And a real quick tidbit before I forget, it is rivalry uniform. So the next time we see Josh Allen, he will be wearing the Bills rivalry uniforms. That's the next time we see them on the field. And it's a whiteout game. So if you're going to the Bills game, wear white.
Must be nice to have an alternate uniform. Us Chiefs fans, we don't know what that's like. Our owner hates anything that isn't traditional.
Yeah.
So Chiefs fans, if you're looking forward to alternate uniforms, maybe 2027, maybe.
Mm.
Still highly
Maybe.
unlikely.
So
I don't know.
I'm more shocked
yeah,
that we still like. There's times we'll wear red pants at home,
yeah,
and it's
I
like,
know.
oh
That's what
man,
we
all
get to look
right.
forward to. Wow.
Yeah,
Though I will say the Chiefs white on white is very clean. I think it's my
it
favorite
is.
look.
I like that. Yeah,
Um,
That is a
yeah.
nice jersey.
Did you mention the Patriots run game? Did I miss that? I was looking up
No.
notes here.
Yeah. No. Yeah. The defense. Our defense with against the Patriots. Look, the Patriots haven't ran the ball well in the first 4 games. Neither Ramondre Stevenson nor rookie Travion Henderson have got it going. Right? They just haven't got it going. But um, this could be the week that they do. Right? They may have an opportunity against the Bills. Now, look, remember we were talking about it. Buffalo did show signs of improvement on the rush. They held um, the Saints to 69 rushing yards. I believe 67. I can't remember the exact number that we were talking about earlier in the second half. So if Buffalo can keep that, that'd be a good thing. But we're currently the second worst run defense in the NFL. We're allowing 164 yards per game and 6 yards per attempt. So that's not good. But on the flip side of that, right,
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, the Bills, lead the NFL in pass defense, only allowing roughly about 125 yards per game. So New England's likely going to do the obvious, what everybody else has been doing, and try to get the run. So look for Bobby Babbitt and Sean McDermott to key up a bunch of blitz and some run defense to try to slow the Patriots down. Um, Again, I'm hoping, and we'll know more by Wednesday, but I'm definitely hoping that Ed Oliver and Matt Milano come back and start getting back into the mix. Hopefully, those guys are healthy enough. But again, like Sean said, we won't know anymore till Wednesday. So
So
we'll
Wednesday,
go
but
from
you'll
there.
have that report out
Yeah.
on Friday. So keep a lookout for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I may. Yeah. So for the injury thing, I may probably Thursday or Friday. I may do a quick one if they're trending where they're actually practicing. If we see them as full participants or limited, I may do a quick little video Wednesday when Sean actually pulls it out. But more than likely, we'll probably just wait till Thursday or Friday if it's nothing serious moving forward.
Got it. Got it. I can't imagine you think the Bills will lose this game, but how do you see the Bills winning it?
Yeah, I don't. Again, Buffalo sleeps their way to 30 points. It seems like. Um, I mean, it's they again playing the Saints had one of the worst halves or even second quarter on the offense that we've seen in a long time. So, and they still threw up 30 points. Uh, Look, I believe Buffalo can win this game in two ways. Both is Josh Allen in the offense needs to they need to play great complementary football, but it needs to
Mm-hmm.
start with, in my opinion, getting Jimbo running hard nosed football again. Get Jimbo out there, um, like he's done all year, right? I mean, he's got that contract, and James Cook is when he's in the kitchen cooking, it's hard to stop the man. So I I, I feel that they'll probably start on the run. But watch for Buffalo to come out with more of that 12 and 13 personnel package and getting their tight ends some more love this week that we didn't in the Saints against the faltering New England pass defense. Um, I feel we're going to engage those tight ends a little more. On the defensive side, edge rushers need to keep control the flow of the game, right? They need to control the flow of Drake May. Look, I think it was Colin Cowherd or somebody was talking to Drake May. I think the Patriots have found their quarterback. I think they found their franchise quarterback. So
Yeah.
they need to keep him. Is he going to run like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson? Probably not. But don't dismiss that. You dismiss that with Spencer Rattler, and look what happened, right? So I think the edge rushers, especially one of the big ones, would be Joey Bosa. We've seen too many times Joey Bosa on the edge, not really sealing the deal, kind of just playing too far inside, allowing them to get outside when he's the man to beat. He needs to step that up, and again, that's something he'll fix. He's a professional. You know he's been in this league a long time. Man, I'm I said it again. I hope this doesn't jinx us 2 weeks in a row. But look for Ed Oliver and Matt Milano to be back in the lineup to help slow New England's offense down. I mean, when Matt Milano's out there, especially Ed Oliver, he was the best defensive player on the field playing the Ravens week 1. And look, and you got to think about it like this, and this is why I kind of said that that Buffalo is better than Ravens. The Ravens were full health when they played Buffalo. They haven't been since week 1 when they started getting the injuries. I started saying, oh, something doesn't look right, but we need to limit. Buffalo needs to limit the third down conversions. Like we played better. Our third down conversion was way better last week. It was way better against Saints. But the Patriots have a 43.5% third down conversion percentage this year, ranking them 8th overall in the NFL. We need to get them in third and long situations and keep our foot on the gas pedal and get those edge rushers home. They got to
Yeah.
step up. I need to see more from Gregory Rousseau. Deion Walker's looking phenomenal. Love what he's doing in there. If we can see Matt Milano get back there and Ed Oliver, I think we get that. And I see this game going closer than the Saints game. Honestly, I really do. And granted, because they're a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, you mentioned Drake May. I mean, Drake May's stats to Josh Allen's stats are eerily similar. Josh Allen's completing his 70.2%. He's got 964 passing yards, one touchdown, or 7 touchdowns, one interception, and a 109.7 quarterback rating. Meanwhile, Drake May is completing passes at 74%,
Mm-hmm.
988 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 109.4. I mean, dead even on quarterback rating so far this season. Of course, the Bills are the more talented team there. Um, what's your final score prediction?
Look, I got Buffalo 30-24, 30-24
Okay.
is what I got. So I think they're going to definitely put it on them. I think the Patriots, again, are going to keep this a little bit closer, but I got it 30-24 Buffalo or the Patriots walking out of Highmark Stadium with an L. Buffalo going 5-0.
Yeah, I actually am thinking along the same lines. I think it's going to be a little bit. I think it's going to be 30-21 Bills, and I got to ask, uh, Bills win this game. The division's wrapped up, isn't it?
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, especially if it is because then we beat every team in the division. Then I think we played Miami, we played the Jets. Yeah, now we're playing the Patriots, and we beat them all.
Right.
So the division would be wrapped up as far as a tie. And I think what they would be 4 or 5 games ahead in the division at that point. I think what because the Patriots are what 2-2. They're
Patriots
not
are
three and
two
one.
and
I
two.
think they're 2-2.
No, they're 2-2. Patriots have they lost their opener to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good loss there. I don't think the Raiders
No,
are a
so
good
yeah,
team
I
this
think
year. Beat the
yeah. So
Patriots, lost to the Steelers, beat the Panthers. So the Patriots have beaten bad teams and have lost to good outside of the Raiders, good teams. So, um,
yeah.
Jimmy, what do you think? How do you see this going down?
Well, like Tom said, the Bills. It's like they. I swear they tell the players like you're going to be facing a fire squad if you don't produce 30 points a game because that's pretty much all they do. So I'd probably
Yeah.
say like 30-21. Bills. I think that
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
they're quite the locomotive that has found nothing to stop them just yet. Not for another couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Tom?
I know.
Yeah. No, I
Let's
agree.
not play this clip back if something bad happens, but you know what I mean. And
Oh, that
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be played back. Unfortunately.
Hundreds of times.
Oh no, yeah,
You're just gonna
uh,
want to play it back.
we don't need that. Something about the
no,
AFC East, you can't have. I mean, when was the last time we had two teams that were good at the same time in the AFC East? Outside of when the Patriots and Mark Sanchez had that run with the Jets one year, I mean, it's you've got one
Yeah.
dominating team and a steep, a steep uh, fall off a cliff
I
after
think
that. So
I think what they do is pay the team since Brady. What they do is they're like, hey, Brady had Deflate Gate. Brady had this. Now that he's
yeah,
gone, Buffalo, we're going to give you one more
Spygate.
turn. Yeah, we're going to give you one more turn since you went 0-4-4, which is our area code up there. We all know that. So if you want to call Buffalo, just out 0-4-4, Buffalo.
stupid.
I tried. That was stupid.
Uh,
Moving right along, guys. Look, if
yeah.
both teams win, right? If Buffalo and Kansas City wins, which AFC storyline dominates next week?
I,
That's an
I
obvious.
mean the Chiefs are back. Yeah, I mean it's the Chiefs. I mean the Bills are supposed to win, right? It's kind of par for the course. So uh, I think the Chiefs are actually favored going into Jacksonville slightly. So Vegas thinks the
Yeah,
Chiefs will win, but going up against arguably the toughest defense they've gone up against this season, I think the bigger storyline's got to be Kansas City.
I agree.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's, in my opinion, like we said before, there's just more they need to prove to be back to last year's form or a Super Bowl running form. But hey, they're not far behind, right? More people are focused on KC because they're not far behind the AFC. No one saw this coming, or sorry, that nobody saw them being this far back in the AFC going into this, right? And they're what? If they win this, or right, if they lose, they have more on the line because they're close to coming back in the AFC West. I mean, what, you guys are only one game down now?
Yeah, game and a half because of the loss to the Chargers. The Chiefs are a
That's right,
game off
game
of
and a
where
half.
I thought they would be this season. I had the Eagles game as a loss going into the season. The Chargers game, I think if Xavier Worthy's healthy, I'm confident in saying the Chiefs probably win that game. Um, but as we'll probably get around to talking a little bit about the Chargers, I think there's some cracks in the Chargers' armor. While they do already have all of their wins against each divisional opponent, their O line looks really bad right now, and there's some room for the Chiefs to gain on them potentially. Them losing to the Giants was massive. So, but yeah, I mean, if the Chiefs lose, they're going to be behind the eight ball, and they play a fantastic Lions team the following week. So uh, it's not a must win, but it's pretty damn close.
I agree. Game of the week. Before we get into the big picture around the NFL, what is your guys' game of the week? I have the Bucks at Seahawks. They're both 3-1. The Bucks loss could put the Falcons close on top of the NFC South. Um, that's my game to look at this week, other than Kansas City losing to a Jacksonville team and then having to go play the Lions. But I think the Bucks
Yeah.
and Seahawks are bigger fish in the pond for me. What do you guys think?
I,
Anything? Anything
yeah,
else?
I think that's the matchup of the week, Bucks and Saints. I will say we've got a good Thursday night game, 49ers at Rams. The Rams, I mean, it's a battle of the 3-1s, and the Rams might be one of the most complete teams in the NFL. I'm looking at this team. I'm really struggling to find any sort of weakness. Matt Stafford is playing out of his mind, and I don't think it's a stretch to say Puka Nacua is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
You
So
say
I'm
you don't
excited.
think he is,
No, I think he is.
or
I
he?
don't think it's
Oh,
a
he is.
stretch
Okay,
to
yeah,
say
yeah.
that. I think Puka
Oh, yeah,
Nacua is the best wide receiver in the NFL. The way he's playing right now, I
yeah,
can't think of
yeah.
anyone I would take over him at this moment.
No,
Obviously,
yeah,
things can change, but
yeah. Puka Nakua's 42 catches in 4 games, 503 yards, on track for over 2,000 yards this season. He had 170 alone against the Colts.
yeah,
So we were going to talk about that, but that's pretty much a clear that we know he's WR number one right now.
no, he's
Uh,
phenomenal.
yeah.
No,
Around the NFL, the big picture, real fast. We'll fire through some of these guys real quick. A discipline debate. Look, I found this worth noting this week, real fast. Jalen Carter winds up getting fined again. Philadelphia Eagles defensive tackle was fined $11,593 for taunting after blocking a field goal against the Los Angeles Rams. This came just 3 weeks after he received a separate fine for spitting on Dak week one, which has raised concerns about his on field discipline.
What we do know is he's a great guy off the field. Don't Google it, but he's a pretty good dude. So
you really want
yeah,
to
that
punish Jalen Carter away? Punish Jalen Carter. You got to make him drive the speed limit. We know how
no
much
joke.
those Georgia Bulldogs hate driving the speed
Yeah,
limit.
No joke.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the spit thing. I
Uh,
watched some deal that said that Dak like spit in his direction supposedly, which is why he spit on him, which I think
Yeah,
is one of the most disgusting things you can do to a person. But yeah,
yeah.
he's making not smart choices on the field, and he's gonna have to figure that out because that could cost them in the long run.
yeah, I agree. Look, injury report time. As you guys can see down there on the bottom, that ticker has been ticking through, and it ticks through some of the most major injury reports that you're going to find in the NFL. And we are here with an injury report segment that we are going to expand on those
Yeah.
injuries this week. Man, there's been so many injuries. I'll go ahead and kick this one off real fast. The Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has a hamstring injury. This was one of the more strange injuries from the NFL in week 4. The Ravens were just getting straight handled by the Chiefs, and Lamar Jackson left the game early in the third quarter, I believe it was, around third quarter.
Yes.
Jackson never looked like he was in pain, though. He came off, he threw his helmet down like he was pissed off because, look, you were getting handled. The public believed Jackson was simply pulled because the game was out of hand, which, if you are a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, you're not going to do that, right? You're not going to end up pulling yourself and or just giving up. Look, I thought it was him giving up on the team. However, it was just the third quarter, like everybody says. But head coach John Harbaugh denied answering right after the game whether Jackson would have gone back in the game had he been closer. But it was later that he announced that Jackson did suffer a hamstring strain after he reported feeling a grab in his leg. And the breaking news right before we got on the podcast, they were saying the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is unlikely to play week 5 and could potentially miss up to 2 to 3 weeks. This comes from at Brian Wacker 1 from the Baltimore Sun. The Ravens are sitting 1-3 and could miss the playoffs because of this. In Kansas City, thank you. We don't have to play Baltimore in the playoffs.
It wouldn't
Thank you
have
guys.
bothered me playing them in the playoffs. I mean, we
Sure.
established we're 5-1 against them. I think it was the Bills fans who didn't want to see Baltimore in the playoffs. Yeah. Listen, if you actually go over to the betting websites right now and you place a bet on who you think will win the AFC North, Vegas seems to think that the Ravens are still going to pull it off. It's odd to me. Listen, I they're in a tumultuous situation here. I think that Cooper Rush did not look great in the second half. They play the Texans and then they play the Rams, and then they have their bye week. If they go 1-1, I mean, they're still looking at 2-4 coming out of the bye. Um, I don't know. It's going to be a long climb for Lamar Jackson. I will say the optics did not look good for Lamar Jackson on the sideline. I would think you've got to have him maybe go to the locker room, maybe work with the trainer if it's a hamstring issue. Sitting on the bench and pouting, not great. I mean, shit. Mahomes throws his helmet. He gets in Andy Reid's face when he twists his ankle every single year. He's really animated.
Yeah.
Lamar looked dejected, defeated, and I can't imagine that's going to be a morale boost for the locker room when they look back at this.
Well, to add on
It's
that too,
an
with like
all-time head scratcher. Yeah,
Derrick Henry only had 8 carries in that game against the Chiefs, which
Yeah, and they
was really
dude, they
shocking.
were doing
And I
good.
didn't see if he was hurt or nothing, but he just kind of
Yeah,
sat over there like he's like, "Hey, I did my 8 and I didn't fumble, so let's wait till next week
yeah,
and see what happens. Let's break that streak."
yeah, and then
But
they
to
just stopped. Like, why would you? Anyways,
yeah, to add to the injuries though, Malik Neighbors tore his ACL, so he's done. So went up for a 50-50 ball and looked like he blew his knee out. He's carted off the field, and there has now been 8 ACL injuries at MetLife since 2020, which raises
that
the
field is
question:
atrocious.
they should
change
be
the
natural
field.
grass.
Buffalo's new stadium's natural grass. Josh Allen, they were talking about. They love grass. Get rid of the field, MetLife, for the love of God.
At least
Eight
for your players. I
in
mean, you've
five
got the
years.
Giants and the Jets
5 years.
playing there. Ugh, it's not great.
Jesus.
Ricky Pearsall. I always
Mm-hmm.
mix that up in my head.
Pearsall.
Um, Pearsall. That's it. I was gonna get there eventually. I came into week 4 question with a knee injury. The entire first half looked good for him. There was a possible reaggravation happened in the second half where it came down awkwardly on his leg, but was able to walk off. He went into the blue medical tent and missed roughly a full quarter. He would return for just one play and then immediately leave again and not return. He stated that he felt some instability in his knee along with some pain. There's not much information post injury. We'll just have to wait for further updates. But the 49ers, man, they can't catch a break at all with the injury bug.
He's the dude that got shot in his chest like last year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
His
he got
rookie year.
robbed. Yeah, they took his
Oh
Got
yeah.
watch.
robbed, got shot.
Yeah,
But
insane.
the 49, like when you say like certain teams couldn't catch a cold, I digress. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Darnell Mooney in his hamstring in the third quarter, week 4. Darnell Mooney left and would not return with a hamstring issue. He reportedly sustained the injury late in the first half and seemed to want to see if he could continue. We want to see if he could keep going out there. There are not many details available on the injury itself other than it's minor. Ian Rappaport reported that Mooney is not expected to miss any games. The Falcons are on a bye week in week 5, which undoubtedly helps this situation at hand if there is anything that is lingering with Darnell Mooney. But Mooney should be able to go for their matchup against Buffalo in week 6. Maybe he steps on a pop top and doesn't come play Buffalo, and Buffalo gets a
Huh.
little bit easier win against the Falcons.
Now for I think the biggest injury, Tyreek Hill. But that was not fun to watch. He surprisingly did not break, but dislocated his left knee. I thought it was snapped in half. I'm sure everyone else that watched it probably only
Yeah.
once agreed with me. Um, Adam Schefter put on Twitter that Tyreek Hill tore multiple ligaments in his knee, including his ACL, so he's done for the season. He's still at the hospital, and he underwent surgery earlier today to repair it.
Yeah.
So I don't think
To
the
add
Chiefs
on
are
to
going to
that,
make a trade for him anymore. So I could be wrong.
I
Maybe
no,
they'll bring him back.
yeah, I totally agree. No, his agent actually went on to say, Drew Rosenhaus added that another surgery will not be needed. It's about rehab, and he will play next season. The realistic goal is the start of the season, which what did the kids say? That's cap. I just don't. As many torn ligaments as he has in his knee, he's 32 years old. Um, dare I say this is probably it for Tyreek Hill. Quick question to you guys: Tyreek Hill's in the Hall of Fame, right?
I think he's got to be.
Yeah, you have to.
Just
He has
just
to
from
be
his time
so
in Kansas
solid.
City, he's got to be. That I mean, that was electric. Those years he was here,
Yeah.
and it
No,
does suck that he
I
left.
agree.
But yeah, that yeah, I don't see
Yeah, I
if
don't.
he were
I
to make a comeback, he's not going to be anything like he's been. I mean, he'll be
yeah, he's definitely
fast,
not going to be as
obviously.
explosive.
Yeah, I mean, he would beat all of us in a race easily. But
Well,
as
not
for
now.
yeah, not today. I might beat him, but he won't.
Uh,
I don't think if he does come back, I mean, they're he's not going to be nearly what makes him great. I don't think.
yeah. No, I agree. For a player that relies on his speed and explosiveness like he does, to be able to
The
pivot and
agility.
play off that knee,
Yeah.
yeah, I hate. I mean, I don't want to say that his career is 100% over, but by the time he's getting back from this injury, for one, ACL injury to start next season, just if it was just that alone, the odds are already stacked against him because he's going to be 33 at that point. And then along with how significant this injury is. Now, it's a good thing he didn't have surgery last night because that means that there would have been a blood issue to his foot, and it would have been more severe. Obviously, that wasn't the case, so that's good news. But with the amount of damage that he had to his knee, I can't foresee him coming back until maybe he's 34. And then how fast will someone at 34 be coming back from a knee injury like that? I just think it's probably over. Maybe we'll see him give it a go somewhere other than Miami, but that's a tough one. Hard to see all time terrible injury to see on TV, up there with Joe Theismann and Alex Smith. That was just absolutely
Yeah.
disgusting. I do not ever need to see that again. And Tampa Bay, Bucky Irving had an undisclosed injury. Todd Bowles said that several players are getting MRIs, and Bucky Irving was among them. I did see footage of him going into the locker room. It looked like he had some padding on his hip, but there are multiple sources that say it's either ankle or it's a hand injury. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to check to see if there's been any updates. I haven't seen any so far. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out when we find out. So if you play fantasy football, keep an eye out for that. Uh, man, this week has been absolutely wild, and I think the upset of the week has got to be uh, New York beating the 3-0 Chargers, and which I love to see as a Chiefs fan, and I think the nation loved to see it because that meant Jackson Dart's mom was on TV more. But what did you guys come away? If you haven't Googled Jackson
Yeah.
Dart's mom, do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Not right
Do it.
now during the podcast, but after the podcast, and you've got some lonely time. Go over to the Googles and
Check
give
her
her a
out.
look see.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart went for 13 of 20, 111 yards and a touchdown. Uh, listen, I thought that Brian Dable should have made the change next week against the Saints, but I'm not an NFL coach. I was wrong. It looked like Jackson Dart was the start that they needed, and him and Cam Scatterbo looked like a dynamic duo there. So, what did you guys take away from that game?
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of
Look,
Scatterboo. Not when we play him, but I like
yeah.
watching
Yeah,
that dude. You go ahead, Tom. You're good.
Yeah. No, just real fast, and then we'll kind of fire through some of the rest of these that we got the notes on here. But look, it wasn't the greatest showing in the world, right?
no,
It's not like he came out and lit the fire ablaze and it's the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, right?
Uh,
But look out. Look, I thought, right, and I kind of, we're talking about this, and I've talked to a few people about this. Should Dable have made that switch after the first 2 weeks? Me personally, yeah. Everybody's was even saying, hey, why are you putting Jackson Dart? Look who else we got sitting,
yeah.
right? So, look, again, I'm not an NFL coach either. I don't know, but congratulations to the Giants. Cam Scadabow's dog. That dude, he's so little, and he plays like he's a giant.
Yeah, he's a little
Yeah.
mini
Unreal.
fridge.
He is a giant.
See what you did there.
Colts lose to the Rams. Was this all
Yeah.
on Adonia Mitchell's drop that went through the end zone for a touchback? I mean, the
I
Colts
mean,
lost 20-27.
what was he doing there? I had flashbacks to oh my gosh, Eagles player who would fumble the ball before getting into the going across the goal line. It'll come up to me
Uh,
later, but you know
it
what I'm
was
talking about.
Yeah.
the
I
Jackson
know who
or
you're
Um,
talking about.
yeah, Jackson, right? Something Jackson. I'll think of it. I'm sure someone out there
yeah,
could let us know. Who am
I
I
can't think of
thinking
his
of?
first name. But yeah, he
Let
used to
us know in
drop
the
the ball
comments
like
if you
right at the
remember
goal
who that
line,
is.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
stupid.
You got to be better than that.
Indiana Jones took a little bit of a step back, but you know what? I think the Colts will probably be okay. The Rams are a great team. Losing 20-27 to them is nothing to be ashamed of. It's one
No, not
loss.
at all.
So
No, definitely not. Green Bay and Cowboys tie. The Micah Parson drama continues. We could sit on this thing forever. I think this horse is beaten. It was a terrible defensive showing by both teams, in my opinion. Both of these teams came in, put up 40 points. Look,
yeah,
if it wasn't, I will tell you this, Dallas. If it was not for Micah Parsons being on the other side, you would have won that game. He single handedly chased down Dak Prescott and tackled him before he made that touchdown in overtime. And that's what gave you one more chance. But you guys look terrible hurrying up to get to the ball. What are you doing? It was like you
Wow.
guys
yeah.
thought you had another quarter to play. And then what? Their coach goes in there and says, hey, maybe my team didn't know that we were in 2-minute offense.
Yeah,
Young
this
team.
game was the game of the year until it wasn't. You can't have a game of the year that ends in a tie. Um, a lot of really weird coaching decisions. The lack of urgency from the Packers on the
Yeah.
second possession of overtime was very odd to me. I don't know how you don't know to spike the ball when the time. I mean, dude, how was there 1 second left there at the end of the game? It just really felt like the Packers were playing to tie at the end, didn't it? A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Some really weird decisions there.
Yeah, I think they need to switch up the way they do overtime. I mean, you can't end in a tie. This isn't soccer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if we play quarters. Do it. Like, figure out a way, make it to where someone wins. At the very end, flip a coin. I don't care. Like, figure it out. I think it looks so dumb when teams are like 2-1-1. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
I
It's
yeah,
not soccer.
I
It's not
American
agree.
soccer.
football.
That's right. It's the real
So
football.
what do we do? Make the last do we make overtime 15 minutes long, or is it where we just don't have time to possessions? Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is here,
I
but
don't know because what is it like in
um
college? You get each person gets possession, and then after that, you
yeah,
pretty much just back and forth go for two until someone doesn't
yeah.
get it. Just do
They're doing
that
it great.
as long as they're not on the two
That's
yard line,
fun.
because then the Eagles are always going to win and do the tush push. But like I was saying, like you should make it to where each team gets a possession at like the 25-yard line, and you can kick a field goal or score a touchdown, whatever. If the defense runs one back to the house, game's over. If you score a touchdown, the other team doesn't score a touchdown, game over. And then if you both score a touchdown and you both kick a field goal, then you guys get one play from the 5-yard line, and that's it. And it's your
I
go for
like that.
two, and then you just go back and forth until someone doesn't get it, and go from there. And eventually, something's going to happen. There should always be a winner. You know, and I know some
I
people
agree.
raise their kids to get participation trophies, but I do not with mine, and I know you guys don't with yours. So I think I think there should always be a winner and a loser. It doesn't mean if you're a loser you're a bad person. Talking like a dad right now, but I'm just saying like
I agree.
The ties are
Yeah,
dumb. What they're gonna do that in the Super Bowl? You're gonna have dual
If you ain't
parades.
first, you last.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
come on, this is dumb.
yeah.
No, get rid of
It
it.
is.
There's got to
There
be
needs to
a
be some
clear winner.
changes.
Yeah.
Has
Well,
to be
and there could
something.
be. We'll see. They just changed it already. Why can't they change it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, get it out there. Last bit of news before we move on. Hit it, Dave. What do you got? What about that
No,
Ashton
yeah.
Genty?
I mean, Ashton Genty had a breakout game against the Bears, and it was a really slow start. It seemed like for the season, like, oh, should he have been the number one running back taken? But he had 21 carries to follow for 138 yards and 155 scrimmage yards, averaging 6.6 yards per carry and 3 tutties. Next Gen Stats had him 140 yards after contact.
Y'all,
Absolutely insane. Uh, my favorite part about his game um, is the Mike Myers stand there. uh, the
yeah,
way he stands in the backfield is absolutely amazing.
It's menacing.
um, yeah, it is. It's extremely menacing, and even the coach for the Raiders, Pete Carroll, said that he absolutely fucking loves it. So I'm
It is
happy to
awesome.
see it. I'm happy for Ashton Genty. I'm not happy for the Raiders, but I'm happy for Ashton Genty that he finally got something going there, and maybe this is just how he's going to be the rest of the season, which doesn't bode well for the Chiefs, but happy for him nonetheless.
I agree.
agreed, agreed. Biggest surprise of the week for me. Jackson Dart coming out there and putting that old can of whoop ass on the Giants. Or, sorry, Jackson Dart put it on the Giants, on the Chargers. Jesus,
Yeah,
I'll get it
no,
back. It's
that's
going to be
usually
way
what
more.
Giants quarterbacks do to the Giants, whoop
Yeah.
their own
They'll throw
ass.
their own
So
ass. Yeah.
that's usually the narrative. But no,
Yeah.
it was great to see. And the Chargers didn't play the well. I mean, Omarion Hampton looked a lot better in this game. Shocking, they gave him more opportunities because with the injury
Mhm.
that they have in the running back room, that you would see that more often. But that being said, I know you talked last week about the Chargers and they look great. They look really good, And Jimmy and I pushed back on that and said, "Hey, look, the Chargers have a long history of doing this thing that we call chargering, and that's kind of what they did. The Chargers lose these sort of games, and so that's why I'm always a little bit hesitant about um, putting them up higher in my power rankings or putting them up, as the clear cut division winner, just because there's a long tracker record of them getting ahead and then for some reason falling apart. They've had some significant injuries. I don't know how long Joe Alt is going to be out, so the O line looks like it's like it is every year for the Chargers, is going to have some holes. So we'll see how the Chargers bounce back. But this is a good sign for the Giants. What I would like to see is for them to continue this streak, and who knows? I mean, that D line is absolutely amazing. Brian Burns is a dog. I don't think that trade has been talked about enough, but if the
Mhm.
Giants get on a little bit of a roll here, might be an upset against the Eagles in a couple weeks. Just saying.
It'd be awesome. I'm all for that.
I'm all for it. We'll see it. And here it is, the time of the show for the NFL top 10 teams. I'm going to say, this one is brought to you from our good friends that we've now teamed up with, the NFL shop. Again, go down there. It's been scrolling across the bottom. Hit that link, look in the show notes. But Dave, your top 10 is
uh,
finally here. And this is what you were saying. You wanted to change this.
I do. So I've gone back and forth.
And
Listen, I've seen a lot of what the prognosticators and the media members have talked about, and I've seen the Chiefs actually up there in the top five of a lot of power rankings. Stephen A. Smith had him as his number four team. I've seen him in Colin Cowherd's hierarchy up there at like fifth or sixth or something like that. Um, I have the Chiefs on the outside looking in at 11, and I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I feel okay about my power rankings. I feel like I'm a little bit of a hater on the Chiefs. I'm not. Trust me. Spoiler alert. A little bit of glimpse in the future. If they win, they beat the Jags. I'm going to have them pretty high up on the power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
First things first, I got to have the Eagles number one. I don't feel great about it. I do think that they're just all around the best team. I heard a stat, and I haven't had the chance to verify it yet. Jalen Hurts had 0 passing yards in the second half against the Bucks,
Yep,
Yep.
it's true.
and they still won. Jalen Hurts hasn't had to do much, and I I've never been sold on the idea of him being an elite quarterback. And the thing is that they don't need him to be elite. He has got such a solid team and foundation around him
Yes, he
that
does.
he can be
Mm-hmm.
an average, above average quarterback and still just breeze through games. It's absolutely insane. That being said, Nick Sirianni, what are you doing? Why are you on the sidelines chirping at the opposing team? Like, I don't know. He's
He
perfect for the
does.
Eagles. He's perfect for the city. He's perfect for
He
that
does that a
team.
lot.
But I cannot stand the guy.
Me neither.
Moving on. I got the Bills as number two. I mean, the combined opponents for the Bills have one win. So I will say that they haven't really been tested just yet. But I think after the Patriots game and the Falcons game, we'll have a real litmus test for them to see how good they are. Followed by the Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Rams, the Jacksonville Jags, San Francisco 49ers at 6. We got the Chargers at 7. I thought about taking the Chargers off the list. The injuries are going to be hard for them to overcome, and losing to the Giants, but they're still 3-1. They still have 3
Yep.
wins over divisional opponents. It's hard for me to take them out. I have the Bucks falling back a bit. Listen, I know that the Buccaneers are a good team. They're 3-1. I think they're probably going to win this week's matchup. That being said, they're in every game, no matter who their opponent is, and it's down to the wire. I haven't seen them just take over and dominate a game just yet. So I've got to see a few more games before I move them up the ranking. The Colts I have at 9, and then I think I might be the only person who has the Steelers at 10. I know the Steelers don't have any like crazy good wins, but
Mm-hmm.
they're finding a way to get it done, and the AFC North looks so soft right now. It's their division to lose. So that's my top 10 power rankings. It's mine and mine alone. Like I said, I got the Chiefs on the outside looking in, and if they end up pulling off this win this week, I got them shooting up the rankings.
Yeah, I like it. Look, that's huge. Having the Chiefs looking in after uh, how they played. Um, but moving right along, we are going to go into my power rankings. And look, so I will say this: I had them change. I've changed it twice, right? So I changed my power rankings twice. I built two of them to begin with prematurely, and then I built one this morning when I had a little bit more time to look at it and think about this. And look, I had Buffalo sitting at number one above the Eagles, and I look, and I kind of messaged, we talked about this off the podcast. Realistically, could I put Buffalo above the Eagles? No. Arguably, yes, I can. Um, and my arguments and we don't have to get into all of the arguments of why I believe Buffalo should have went up there. I mean, Buffalo, regardless of how bad Buffalo plays, and look, I look at it like this. I don't look at a team in the NFL based on a record, right? Because we already know it's hard to win in the NFL. This game's won by inches. It's won by seconds. One one wrong move or bad play call can turn a whole entire game upside down, inside out, right? So, look, Buffalo sleeps their way to 30 points. And I can't put Jalen Hurts above Josh Allen if we go that way, right? But if we go team to team, Buffalo, I cannot realistically put Buffalo number one when you have the second to last run defense in the league. You're not a complete unit. I think, honestly, the only complete unit that's close enough to complete is the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, so here it is. Philadelphia, number one, although you did have a terrible second half against a really good team. You came out on fire, but again, if you can't keep that same intensity, how long are you going to stay up top? Because you got Kansas City coming up here, right? Kansas City's starting to come back. The Buccaneers aren't going to let you keep doing that. The Detroit Lions are looking good. Buffalo's getting people back. So I got Buffalo number two. Guys, we got a bunch back. These are the two only 4-0 teams left in the NFL. Detroit Lions number three. It's something to say there. That team is looking pretty dang good. Los Angeles Rams, followed by the Buccaneers. I didn't drop the Buccaneers too much, I don't think. I think they actually stayed. And I didn't get to keep I didn't look at my week 4. But the Bucks played a really good Philly team and didn't give up. I mean, Baker Mayfield and that team has no give up in them. They're going to stick around. They're going to be a really good NFC team right now. If they can just stay healthy and stay playing some football the way they're doing, they're going to get up there. Indianapolis Colts number 6, the Chargers at number 7. I finally put the Seattle Sea Chickens on the power rankings at number 8. I wasn't even going to put them up there. But you know what?
I go
They
back and
deserve it.
forth on
They're a
them.
3-1 team. I am too. I'm
Yeah.
back and forth, but look, they're 3-1. We had that talk last night during our kind of just show prep that we were doing. And look, you made a good point. I mean, a 3-1 team a quarter of the way through, that's something to say. However, I don't.
Yeah.
My only problem is you could say, well, you don't have the Steelers up there, Tom. Yeah, you have Aaron Rodgers. You're
Yep.
not going to play these top 5 teams and fucking get
And
out
and
alive
the
with them.
Steelers
I
lost
don't
to
see
the
it.
Seahawks. So I mean, I thought about having the Seahawks up there. I went back and forth on it because
Yeah.
I don't know. They lost to the Niners and they barely beat the Cardinals, and I don't think the Cardinals are a good team. So I'm
Yeah.
torn.
I got Yeah,
I
look,
think you can make an
and
argument for
again,
either one being in your top 10.
yeah, and look, Kansas City at number 9. Look, I don't even know. I think I may be the only guy that has in here on this podcast right now that has Kansas City in the top 10. And I said, is
Unfortunately.
Kansas City back? I don't think they are yet, right? I don't think they're 100% back. But guys, that showing right there, give me, give me. So you're telling me that the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs? Record wise, yes. Statistically, they're going to get dog walked.
I think the Chiefs probably
I just
beat
feel it.
the Steelers. I just
I know,
I don't know.
and
I,
you were talking about
yeah.
changing it, but then I got Jacksonville Jaguars at 10. Look, I love what Jacksonville's doing. I just look, this right here is going to be again, like you said, the litmus test that I'm going to see is Kansas City for real, and they going to move up this thing, or are they going to stay right there? Is Jacksonville and then Detroit going to slay Kansas City? I hope so. We know what they do. Keep them number 7.
Yeah.
Okay, keep them number 7. It's not going to happen. That is my top 10 power list. I had Green Bay sitting at 11. I was going to bring you in, but guys, I cannot put you in the top 10 if you're playing against Dallas Cowboys and you're both putting up 40 stinking points going into overtime.
40 points without CD Lamb. No
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. I mean, I honestly thought like Parsons would really change the dynamic, and he has. Think about how bad this Packers team would be without Parsons.
Oh, I know.
Awful.
Oh,
Huge. And here we go. Before we move on, we finally got Jimmy to make
Yeah,
a
we got
top
one.
10 power ranking. So without further ado, here is Big Jim's top 10 power rankings.
don't say it like that. Jesus. Yeah, I have Philly like everyone else on top. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs, and until they lose, I don't see really moving them around too much. The Bills team's nasty, like Tom said. The Bills and Eagles are the only 4-0 teams, and the Bills will always find a way to win. Detroit's just they've been nasty this last 2 years, so obviously I got them up there. Puka and the Rams are slaying. I did put Jacksonville up pretty high, which I'm hoping after this week they won't even be on the board and the Chiefs can replace them is the plan. Um, but we'll see. 49ers, I have them up there, even though they're battling a ton of injuries with key players. They still find a way to win. The Seahawks are, I think, not doing too bad. The Chargers, we'll see if they stay up there. They hopefully they keep being their worst enemies, and the Bucks. I think the Bucks will hopefully only climb from there. I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan, so I've been enjoying watching him do good, even without a star receiver. And then the Colts, of course, they're doing good. I had the Chiefs just right out looking in. I think after next week, if they pull out a win, or this week if they pull out a win, they'll be in my top 5 easily. So, which I have my fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
They'll crack that top 10. I agree. I look, the Bills fan was the only one that had Kansas City in the top 10.
I think you just gave us a
Gosh,
sympathy
that's got to
vote.
be something to say.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. I didn't give them sympathy, but I was dropping them pretty quick. But look, regardless of what you say, if you can go in and beat the Ravens, even you guys are at home, doesn't matter.
no,
You put
it's
up
probably
a
the worst beating that the Ravens have gotten this season too.
yes,
Yeah,
but you have to understand, you guys didn't play the Ravens at full health like Buffalo did.
that's why I didn't move them up. Like
That
if
almost kept. That's why I almost didn't put them up, and that was like you were saying. That's why I don't. I need one more week.
uh,
You're not beating the fully healthy um, Ravens, but
yeah, I
with
think it
that
would have
being
been more
said,
of a shootout if
you're
everyone was
still the
healthy.
Kansas City Chiefs. You still have 1-5 back there, so
Yeah,
there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the top 10 NFL power rankings from us over here at tabletop. Tabletop. Jeez, I was thinking of the game tabletop. Here at Tables and Tailgates from our friends over at the NFL Shop. You can go right there, click that link down in the show. If you go to the NFLshop.com, you will help the podcast out, and you're going to get you some cool merch.
That's right.
yeah.
So go over there and do that. Here it is, guys. Huge shout out once again to all our new subscribers and followers, and of course the OGs who've been riding with us from the start. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Tables and Tailgates. The best way to support the show, hit that follow button, smash that like, subscribe, share it with your crew, and ring that bell so you never miss when we drop new content. New episodes drop every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcast from. That's going to do it for us. As always, from Arrowhead to Orchard Park, thanks for joining us on Tables and Tailgates. And until next week, keep smashing tables, keep tailgating, and keep loving football.